Whether you're building a diorama or a dollhouse, decoupage is a useful skill to have. First, we start with moths. Specifically, these moths, destined to decorate a dresser. This first decoupage method uses paper. Paper printed to look like wood, which we will apply to this actual wood surface. These knobs are in the way. Sauce the nubs with alcohol to weaken the glue. Extract the obstacles. Patch the holes with wood filler and wipe away excess with a damp napkin. Beautiful. There are 3 main secrets to decoupaging with paper. First, color the paper edges with paint or marker to dull them down. 2, coat both sides with collage medium to reduce warping. And finally, make the angles as straight as you can. The human eye can detect when something is off by a single degree. Much like the beloved phrase, "you missed a spot," a casual observation of "that's crooked" can be as pleasant as biting a fork. If your paper placement is crooked, you have 2 options. 1, peel off the paper, get new paper, and try again. Or 2, you let it go. Embrace the done is better than perfect mindset and move on. Either way, it's usually better to work with a copy of the design and not the original. Here's a nifty trick for quick mini knobs. Place these transparent sticky bumpers onto a printed design, then put the whole thing into a standard hole punch to cut it out. Trust that your punch will return the knob to you. Then, glue them on. To add depth, try gluing a heishi bead under each knob. By the way, if you can't find this wood Dollar Tree dresser, Queen City Minis shows you how to make a cardboard version. Paper works great for a flat surface, but what if your mini is curved? Enter napkins. Napkins and printed tissue paper are soft, flexible, and easy to tear. When you unfold them and peel apart the layers, the edges almost vanish. Let's make this tiny pot worthy of a plant. Paint the inside a dark color. Paint or primer the outside white. Choose a detailed napkin. Tear it up into tiny pieces. Pinching the pattern as you perforate improves precision. Brush on collage medium in small sections. Lay the napkin piece into place. Brush more collage medium onto the outside from the center outward to reduce air bubbles. Be sure to hit all the flaps and edges. Soft bristles help push the material into the cracks. Overlap the pieces to create a seamless pattern. Larger decorations will create a more abstract design in comparison. Touch up the top and bottom with a little paint. Then tidy the inside rim of the pot because you can't handle the messiness. And we're ready for plants, or fingers. One of my favorite classic paintings is this almond blossom piece by Van Gogh. I love the colors and the lumpy branches. And, of course, there's a napkin version. The scale of the design works well with the dresser size, which gives us layout options. Because the napkin design is harmonious with the scale, we can cover the piece with very few cuts or changes. Working in small sections ensures that you have good control and reduces air bubbles. You might notice the condition of my dressers is abysmal prior to covering. This is for 2 reasons. 1, decoupage is generally forgiving about surface texture. And 2, because I really dislike sanding. Tearing away this finger slot section is pretty satisfying. Add knobs made of head pins, seed beads, and pearl cabochons. Brush on a little coordinating paint. Then add a smidge of dark color for depth. Pan pastel is an easy way to add some shadow between the drawers. Use any napkins for mini decoupage. If you want to use rainbow bright napkins, you can. If you can think of a theme, it probably has a napkin. For example, here's a bunch of napkins that include root vegetables. Or lemons with blue tile motifs. So what can you do if the napkin design is too large for your mini? Van Gogh's Starry Night is one of my mom's favorite classic paintings, but this napkin is twice the width of the dresser. With a little creative tearing, you can still bring the essence of the design to a smaller surface. We'll add this village. Cobble a patchwork peak. and tie it together with some swirly blue bits. My mom does beading, so I make the knobs with a head pin and these little beads, which I secure with super glue. Let's try making our own pattern layout. The first time I tried to draw a brick pattern, I was about 6 years old. It went something like this. At first, I just drew bricks. Then I realized a grid would draw them faster. But that wasn't quite right. I looked again and noticed the bricks stagger in what I now know is called a brick pattern. Once I knew this trick to bricks, I was certain I'd unlocked a superpower, and for a while, I drew bricks everywhere. Once you unlock the basics, decoupage is another pattern superpower. And just like the bricks, you can stagger the patterns and edges in your napkin placement to make them more interesting. These glass mille fiori beads make cute little knobs. Faux shadows made of ink will help the knobs stand out. Grab your favorite glue to secure the glass globules. It's a matter of preference, but I'm calming the colors down a bit with some white pan pastel, followed by a touch of shadow with a darker pastel. What's the most complex shape every house has? Enter the humble toilet. If you can decoupage a toilet, you can decoupage anything. Pull the extra plastic bits off a cheap toy toilet so the exterior's smooth like soap. Weight the hollow base with epoxy sculpt to keep your toilet from tumbling. Fill the back cavity with foil. Layer foam board and wood filler over the foil core to form a peculiar truffle. The most important step for decoupage on plastic is primer to help everything stick. Primers for mini painting are thin, which helps preserve tiny details. Even for a toilet, the decoupage sandwich method is the same. Collage medium, napkin, collage medium. Use a soft paintbrush to navigate the curves. Add a little accent paint to tie it all together. Brush on a few coats of water-based varnish like Judikin's Diamond Glaze to achieve that ceramic shine. What base color is better for decoupage, white or the final color? The answer depends on the thickness of the paper you're adhering. For a thicker paper, you can use a darker paint color beneath if you'd like. But for tissue or a napkin, a light or white background will help that translucent pattern show up best. If you know some of the background will be visible, you can use the final color there. To decoupage select areas here, I've used a mix of base colors. This decoupage mat is the best decoupage glue I've found for minis. It's thin enough to use right out of the bottle, and it won't dry tacky. It's strong, clear, and matte. Do yourself a favor and get the easy mode stuff. Using paint and pigments along with the decoupage will personalize your pieces. Start with the decoupage elements and then add shades of paint on and around them. Decorative head pins make great knobs. I primer and paint mine because shiny gold doesn't match much. Drill a few holes, trim the knobs to size, and anchor them with superglue. A final touch of faux shadow with pan pastel. I decorated 5 miniatures with one 5-inch napkin, with pieces left over, and there are still 24 napkins left. Now, you know the simple secrets to transforming your minis with surface patterns.